enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm going to say something, it's going to go out on the internet, I'm going to offend a lot of people. But I'm tired of a bunch of Oreo Mexicanos. They live in Southeast Fresno. They work in Southeast Fresno going to church, and churches of Lord. I think there's nothing, I'm going to go there. I think if somebody gave a person, now I can really get you. If you know any of those people that live on this side of town, but go to church up there, they're no different than those people that won't shop at Walmart in Southeast Fresno, are up there at Clovis at Walmart because they don't want money to see them. What, they think it's a better Walmart? Our Walmart's the best Walmart in town. And you don't know this, but they're about to make it a super Walmart. They're about to make that Walmart a super Walmart. Who are they kidding themselves going up there? They won't lead in our churches, but they'll go up there and they'll sweep the benches and they'll pick up paper after church. But here in this church, they don't want to lead. Why? Because you're embarrassed forever. You know what? I live in Southeast Fresno and I'm proud. And I go to church in Southeast Fresno. If you're visiting, if you're one of those Oreos, we won't be offended. The lights are off, you can walk out. We won't even know. It's sad. It's sad. They're up there mopping the floor, but can't come to church over here. Now look at this. If you and I don't do something, nobody else is going to do anything about this. We can't expect those big churches up there to come down here and be fathers to our kids. We can't expect them to come down here and start painting walls that have graffiti on. We can't expect them to come down here and coach Little League, to come down here and coach basketball. We have to do it. We have to stand up to the devil and say, I'm going to be a positive role model in some kid's life. And I'm going to tell them about the Lord. Somebody said, why don't you get involved with Parks and Rec? Because when we do that, we can't tell them about Jesus. But if it's in our house, guess what? All we're going to tell them about is Jesus. That's all we're going to tell them. We ain't going to take nobody from any other church. That's not what it's about. I look at PFC Pete here, who didn't want to help his fellow brother. You never know when you're going to need help, so why not start helping now? So the day comes when you need somebody to give you an encouraging word, there will be a lot of people in line say, I want to encourage you because you encouraged me when I needed it. You prayed for me when I needed it. You looked out for me when I needed it. Prepare for war. It takes a lot to prepare for war. You have to prepare weaponry. You have to gather intel. You have to educate yourself on the terrain of the place where the battle will take place. You have to acclimate yourself to the weather or the conditions. You have to look out for the logistics, and you have to stockpile supplies. You have to gather these provisions. You have to count the cost. How many men will you lose? And how many men are you willing to lose? You have to recall all of your adversaries, the peace that you sent. You have to then recruit allies to get them on your side. You have to start a misinformation campaign, making the enemy think that you're not coming, so that you can prepare to actually come to the battle. You have to do so many things, but the first thing is count the cost. We're going to lose some people. I want you to turn on the lights in the middle there. It's the one all the way to the left. I want you to look at some of these people that are sitting around you today. More lights. There you go. Wow, I didn't know there's so many people here today. Where have you all been? We've been having church for 4 months. Where have you been? I want you to look around. I want you to look around at the people in this room today. The devil doesn't like it when Christians start fasting and praying, so the devil's going to start more than ever attacking the marriages of the people that are in this house today. The devil's going to start attacking your children. The devil's going to violently come after you. If you don't believe it can happen. 3-4 years ago, a man on the radio who was stealing money from the Hispanic people, I shut him down from the buildings he was renting. I went to Fresno Unified and said, this man is just stealing people from people. He's telling people if they send him money, he'll pray for them. I go, you need it. They got rid of him. That man on the radio said, El Pastor Elias Loera se va a morir de cáncer. He called cancer on me. And guess what? When he said that, within a week, I started getting migraine headaches. Not migraine headaches. I was sitting in my couch. When I could have swore Ray got up from the other couch and hit me with a sledgehammer in the head. It was that fast. Bam! Because the migraine sticks around and it happened 3 or 4 times. For a week straight, I was suffering with those headaches. About 3 or 4 a day, where somebody just hit me with a hammer and it would go away. It was fast enough to throw me down on my knees. It lasted in about 7 seconds. That man had diabolical power. He had diabolical power. And if you sit here and say, I'm a Christian, the devil can't mess with me. Well, you go tell the best Christian ever, Job, that story and see what he'll tell you. I remember casting the devil. I remember saying, if he's got power from Satan, he got power from Jesus. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I came against that and it went away. I got down on my knees and 40 pastors put their hands on me. And they prayed for me and that stopped. I'm telling you something this morning. It has power. It will come against you. And you cannot sit there and not tell me that you're ready to take the beating. I don't think you are. I don't think you're ready to lose everything God gave you. You might not be happy with your spouse, but you made them the way they are. You might not like the way the kids are behaving. They're just, God says, somebody said, it wasn't God, I'm not talking about. But a pastor once said, children are raised, God raises up our children to remind us of us. God raises your kids so that you can see how God sees you. When you look at your kids, what do you see? Well, know this, that's exactly what God sees when he sees you. You're saying, man, this child is so disobedient. God says, well. This child is so rebellious. God says, This child just don't listen. And the Lord goes, I wonder where they get it. You have to fight. He said, rouse up the warriors. Rouse up. I looked up the word rouse. I didn't know what rouse was. I thought it was to get up in the morning. I rose myself out of bed. I roused up. Somebody said, did you rise this morning? Yeah, I roused. But rouse, I looked it up. What does rouse mean? Rouse means to bring out of a state of sleep. Bring out of a state of sleep. Bring out a state of unconsciousness. To bring out a state of inactivity. To bring out of a state of financial, fancy security. To bring out of a state of apathy. To bring out of a state of depression. To stir or incite a strong indignation or anger. And this is exactly what the church in Southeast Fresno needs today. Christians need today. What you need, what I need. Too many Christians are playing around like church is a playground when mission as church is a. What mission is? This ain't a playground. This is a battleground. You're out here playing. This life ain't a playground. You're on a battleground. The minute you decided to say you were a Christian, you started a fight. Just by walking into church this morning, you were already telling the devil, well, I can't believe that God's not supposed to go to church. This is what we need. Why? The definition said there that we need to rouse up the warriors because they're in a state of unconsciousness. That's what we need to do. There are people in churches today that are oblivious to what's going on around them. Some are sending thousands all over the world, sending them to spread the gospel in Africa, South America, Central America, when right here in our town, there are people going to hell without Jesus Christ. Amen. Sending missionaries all over the world when you got your neighbor that don't know Jesus. I don't think a church ever has the right to send $1 overseas to spread the gospel till every person across the street from their church knows about Jesus Christ. We should send $1 out until we spend $1 here on these people that need Jesus. Then he said, the other definition says, to rouse people out of a state of inactivity. Inactivity. That's people that just go to church and go through the motions. The Bible says they're neither hot or cold. It says, I would rather them be cold and spit them out. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. We just played a video for you. And I know you couldn't see it because only half of the picture showed up on all the videos on the screen. Of showing all the things that our church did last year and it's already done here in 2010. Man, we did 7 illustrated from Easter until the last first Sunday in June, illustrated sermons like this with Joseph. I don't know if you guys remember. We used all these people. We did all these things. We went to all this work. 20-some people came to the Lord. And you know what? You got to ask yourself, were you involved in any of that? We did Puppet Master where 35 people came to the Lord. Were you involved in any of that? We taught missionaries and Road Ranger classes on Wednesday nights. Sunday school on Sunday mornings. Were you involved in any of that? We cleaned this church 5 times. Were you involved in any of that? oblivious because you're inactive. Some are in a state of fancy security, thinking that everything is all right, when all of us are just one phone call away from our entire life being turned upside down. Don't let the devil lull you into a false sense of security. Remember the story of Esther and Mordecai. When Esther was sitting in the king's temple and the decree went out that all the Jews had to die. We talked about this last month, where her uncle called her and said, hey Esther, don't think because you live in the palace of the king that you aren't going to be able to be struck down yourself. Don't sit here and think this morning that everything is okay just because you came to church this morning. It's not okay. You still got to fast and you still got to pray. And you still got to seek the Lord. Don't be lulled into a state of security that is false. Some people are in a state of apathy. They need to be roused. They have no interest, no passion, no emotion. They're just rats on a wheel every day the same. They wake up, they go to work. They come home, they sit on the couch. Wake up tomorrow, go to work, come home, sit on the couch. The sad thing is there's some people that are on the wheel this way. They just get up and sit on the couch. They skip the go to work process. And let me just say something this morning. If you don't have a job and you're just sitting on the couch, I will find something for you to do. I won't pay you because I don't want to rob you from a blessing in heaven. But I pray that if you sit on the couch too much, you get blessed where you're not supposed to. And you're like, you're calling down curses like that guy on the radio. No, I'm not. I want to bless you with work around the church. He says, rouse means to incite to anger or strong indignation. I want to ask you this morning, have you had enough? Are you sick and tired of the devil attacking you? Is there anything left for the devil to take away from you? Well, rouse up. Rouse up. Rouse up. Rouse up. Say, I want to join the church. I want to be part of the church. I want to be held accountable. I want to work in the things of the Lord. Everybody wants to be on the stage. We don't have enough room for you. There's over 200 of you today. We don't have room for everybody on the stage. But you saw me. Obviously need help back there. I was doing the sound. Was it too loud? I'm sorry. Get over it. He said that all the fighting men draw near. Joel understood something. Not all men are fighting men. He said that all the fighting men draw near. Not all men are fighting men. We're not all cut from the same cloth. Some of us are better than others. That's the first time I ever heard that in a church. I've been going to church for like 15 years. I never heard like there are better people. I'm going to tell you something. Some of us are better fighters than others. Some of us are better fighters than others. There are some of you sitting here this morning that you got a God-given gift for conflict resolution. Some of you sitting here this morning, you are passionate, you are energetic, you care, you're emotional, and you got the goods, you got charisma, you're a leader at your job, I mean, you got it! You're just using it for the wrong reason. You're using it for evil, like that real estate agent that I was fighting. I don't know if you saw that. That was the real estate agent that said we weren't going to buy this church.